Did you know that more than 20,000 people are injured, admitted to the hospital each year from falling out of bed? But it's not just a little bump on the head. According to the CDC, 450 people die each year from falling out of bed. But could a product meant to keep you in bed be one of the culprits of other injury? Well, our investigative reporter Melanie Woodrow found out why government officials are studying bed rails.
My father's name was Harry Griff. My father, great guy. Give you the shirt off his back. The last few years of his life, he wasn't eating as well as he should be. He was not taking care of himself as well as he should be.
So Pamela made the difficult decision to place Harry in an assisted living facility where he could get the around-the-clock care he needed.
I saw him on December 23rd. And when I left, I said, I'll see you Christmas Day. I saw him Christmas Day, all right. My dad had passed.
The cause of death listed on an autopsy, neck compression by bed rail.
His head came through the side rail and his neck was resting on the top of it, and he strangled to death.
Unexpected for you.
Very unexpected.
Pamela was not alone. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, between 2003 and 2012, 155 people died in incidents involving bed rails, most often from rail entrapment.
It didn't even occur to me that this could possibly happen.
In 2006, the Food and Drug Administration released voluntary guidelines to reduce bed rail entrapments. Establishing regulatory action was more difficult. A bed rail can either be a medical device regulated by the FDA or a consumer device regulated by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. In the meantime, Pamela wants others to learn from her loss.
I work in an intensive care unit. Bed rails are used all the time. But you need to be aware of the dangers that they can pose.
Because you believe these types of deaths can be prevented.
100%. If you have bed rails, check them. Make sure that your loved one can't get even a hand, a leg, whatever. They can't get it through these bed rails so that the same thing doesn't happen to them.
It's one of the harsh realities of medicine. Sometimes something that's designed to prevent injuries can cause them. What does the company that manufactures these bed rails say in this case?
Well, the company in this case, Invacare, told me that patient safety is their top priority and that they really encourage caregivers and patients to be aware of the potential dangers involving bed rail entrapment, but that they continue to follow the FDA's guidelines for how to manufacture these bed rails. And the thing is, those are just guidelines, just like you heard in the piece. They're not regulations, so it's up to the individual manufacturer whether or not to follow them. I should also note that in Mr. Griff's case, there was a lawsuit that was settled out of court with not only Invacare, but multiple other parties with no admission of liability. And I think because this issue is becoming more known and talked about, they are making changes to bed rails. They're making the spaces smaller, and they're looking to make improvements so that this won't happen.
Go over an introduction to entrapment. The term entrapment describes an event in which the resident is caught, trapped, or entangled in a space in or about a bed system. Bed entrapment may result in deaths and serious injuries, including when a resident or patient suffers suffocation, strangulation, or other injury due to being caught within a bed system. A bed system consists of the following elements: a bed frame, side rails or assist device, head and foot panels, and a mattress. Here are some entrapment facts. Between 1985 and 2013, the FDA documented 901 incidents of life-threatening bed entrapments in the U.S. 531 incidents led to resident death. 151 reports include non-fatal injuries. 220 events required staff intervention without injury. And many entrapments may go unreported. Residents who are at highest risk of getting entrapped in a bed are frail, confused, restless, or who have uncontrolled body movement. Often, these residents need assistance to get in and out of bed. Entrapment guidelines. Bed entrapment guidelines were first released by the U.S. FDA on March 10, 2006. The Hospital Bed Safety Work Group is comprised of approximately 75 members from the FDA, Health Canada, the Department of Veterans Affairs, representatives from national healthcare organizations, patient advocacy groups, and medical bed and equipment manufacturers. The HBSW identified 7 entrapment zones in a hospital bed system, of which 4 are considered critical. Entrapment Guidelines currently tests residents' beds in 4 different zones. Zone 1 through 4 account for 80% of entrapment reports. There are a total of 7 zones of entrapment within a bed system. This picture highlights where these 7 zones are located in the bed system. Zones of entrapment. Zone 1, within the rail. Zone 2, under the rail, between the rail supports, or next to a single rail support. Zone 3, between the rail and the mattress. Zone 4, under the rail, or at the ends of the rail. Zone 5, between split bed rails. Zone 6, between the end of the rail and the side edge of the head or footboard. Zone 7, between the head or footboard and the mattress end. Note that although there are 7 zones listed, only zones 1 through 4 are required zones. The FDA continues to monitor entrapments in zones 5 through 7 and will issue further guidelines. With that in mind, all 7 zones should be considered when evaluating a bed system for resident safety. Zone 1, within the rail. Zone 1 is any open space within the perimeter of the rail. Openings in the rail should be small enough to prevent the head from entering. A loosened bar or rail can change the size of the space. The HBSW and IEC recommend that the space be less than 120 millimeters, or 4 3/4 inches, representing head breadth. Zone 1 failure is very uncommon unless you have an extremely old bed system. Zone 1 fails can normally be found on old chrome rails with large gaps. Zone 2, under the rail, between the rail supports, or next to a single rail support. This space is the gap under the rail between a mattress compressed by the weight of a patient's head and the bottom edge of the rail at a location between the rail supports, or next to a single rail support. If there is a single rail support, entrapment in Zone 2 can occur anywhere along the bottom length of the rail beyond the support, up to the end of the rail. Entrapment at the end of the rail is explained in Zone 4. Factors to consider are the mattress compressibility, which may change over time due to wear, the lateral shift of the mattress or rail, and any degree of play from loosened rails or rail supports. Zone 2 failures are one of the more common zones that cause entrapment risk. Zone 3, between the rail and the mattress. This area is the space between the inside surface of the rail and the mattress compressed by the weight of a patient's head. The space should be small enough to prevent head entrapment when taking into account the mattress. Normally, this issue is caused due to the design of how the rail attaches to the bed frame, or due to the mattress being worn, therefore not offering the support needed. Zone 4, under the rail at the ends of the rail. This space is the gap that forms between the mattress compressed by the patient and the lowermost portion of the rail at the end of the rail. Factors that may increase the gap size are mattress compressibility, lateral shift of the mattress or rail, and the degree of play from loosened rails. The space poses a risk for entrapment of a patient's neck. It may change with different rail height positions and as the head or foot section of the bed is raised or lowered. The space may increase, decrease, become less accessible, or disappear entirely. Thus, in some positions, the potential for entrapment in this zone may still exist when the deck is articulated. Zone 4 is another zone with a high fail rate. Zone 5, between split bed rails. This zone occurs when partial or split-length head and foot side rails, split rails, are used on the same side of the bed. The space between the split rails may present a risk of either neck entrapment or chest entrapment between the rails if a patient attempts to, or accidentally, exits the bed at this location. In addition, any V-shaped opening between the rails may present a risk of entrapment due to wedging. Zone 6, between the end of the rail and the side edge of the headboard or footboard. Zone 6 is the space between the end of the rail and the side edge of the headboard or footboard. This space may present a risk of either neck entrapment or chest entrapment. Zone 7, between the headboard or footboard and the end of the mattress. Zone 7 is the space between the inside surface of the headboard or footboard and the end of the mattress. This space may present a risk of head entrapment when taking into account the mattress compressibility. Any shift of the mattress, and degree of play from a loosened headboard or footboard. Exclusions. Pressure reduction therapeutic surfaces, such as LAL surfaces, have a partial exemption from entrapment testing. This is due to the compressive nature of the surface. The only zone that applies is Zone 1. Bariatric beds are 100% exempt from entrapment testing. This concludes the entrapment testing video. Thank you for watching, and if you need more information or further assistance, please call our 800 number or visit our website at www.journs.com.